Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cupid and the Rocks podcast, where we talk about love, relationships, single life, and anything in between. My name is Mia, your host, and we're here with Bradley Allen Meyer, and we're going to talk about sex. Oh, I don't know why I whispered that. We're going to talk about sex tips, okay? Specifically to straight women from a gay man. But let me just clarify that Brad is straight as a line. So I know when I posted it on Instagram, a lot of girls reach out to me and they're like, how gay is he? Can we change his mind? When did he turn? So I'm like, you know what? You gifted everyone.
I'm happy to be able to do that.
Yeah. Wait, so you're straight and single?
Straight and single.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay, right over here.
A dangerous combination.
Yes, very dangerous. So how long have you been single, if I may ask?
So I had a pandemic breakup. And that was, during the pandemic, so 2-ish years.
Really?
Or however.
You've been single since then?
Close to it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How long was the relationship?
That was about a year.
Okay.
And it was very intense. I had just moved to New York and instantly fell in love, and it was a very intense whirlwind experience. We were both actors, so...
So you guys understand the...
Drama, yes.
Yeah. I was going to say hustle, but drama too. Okay.
I will say we understood plenty of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then during the pandemic, what happened? There's just differences that...
Yeah. Well, sometimes I wonder
Yeah.
if it's fate, if things are meant to happen to us, and then because I look at that experience, it was a situation that, inevitably was not going to work out. And it was a difficult period for me. And I have a lot of gratitude for that period of my life where it made me really look at a lot of things differently. To say most plainly, yeah.
Are you guys still in contact? You guys are still friends? Or
I've felt that it's probably best right now for me to just kind of go my separate way. Okay. And I still think about her a lot, and we had a little puppy that I care, and you
guys have a puppy together?
Well, she bought it, but I loved him. He was like a little buddy to me.
That doesn't mean you need to end a relationship with a puppy, right? Or
I agree with that. Yeah. It was just too, Apple and their wisdom. I get all the pictures that pop up on my phone, and I'm like, it's killing me to see that. But then enough time has passed where I look back and I appreciate those times, but I am okay with that having been our relationship and letting him and her go. Right. And I still care. I do love her.
I know you said that you don't know if you believe in fate, but I do. Mm-hmm. I believe in fate completely because I feel like everything that happened to me in the past kind of brought me here. Like every single thing that happened to me. It's like, oh, okay, this is why. Yeah. But anyways, enough with the drama.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that. Brad over here is an actor.
Yes.
And he's preparing for a play that's coming here in Chicago in April. And it's a play about the sex tips to straight women from a gay man. And although Brad is a straight man, I don't think it matters. Either way, we're talking about sex, and we're talking about how a woman can please a man.
Well, it's interesting that, and I kind of wish this was a call-in show, because it would be kind of fun to have a dialogue. But, it's when I think about this topic, and this show's called Sex Tips for Straight Women from a Gay Man. I am the only non-gay character in the play.
Really?
Well, there's 3 characters, so it's a process of elimination. But so much of life is about communication, and I feel like, especially around the topic of sex, there is so much emotional baggage that even when I kind of posed a question, like, throw me your questions. And granted, I was wearing this coat, so people probably didn't take it too seriously. But I was like, I was thinking, seriously, you guys don't have more like deeper questions about this? Because like I'm curious about sex. I want to talk about it all the time, and there's a lot to learn. And maybe not all the time, but there's a lot to learn.
He definitely meant all the time, but it's
a big part of our lives, guys. Like we have to, I think, give it the respect that it deserves and the proper space that it deserves. So we're talking about it right now.
Right, exactly. And honestly, like when I was telling you earlier, I think sex is still a little taboo for a lot of people, especially women. I mean, I have a lot of female friends that every time I'm very open about sex, and I always talk about the experience that I had last night with my husband, and I would say it out loud, but a lot of my friends get a little uncomfortable with that, and I feel like we need to stop because sex is as important as breakfast for me.
So
you need to talk about it.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that. Like I've started to, I think, as a process of moving to New York and my relationship experience, and I really started to look at my spirituality, for lack of a better term, and what makes me who I am. Yeah. And that's it's like that sexual energy. We are not here without it. All of existence does not occur without it. Like I was telling you before we started rolling that my background is biology, and I think about, I have a lot of backgrounds, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
But that's one of them, and I approach the subject from a lot of different areas, but it is the breakfast of champions. It's good for the soul.
It is good for the soul. And I do think communication is really important between two partners, or 3 or 4 or 5. It doesn't matter. But communication is definitely important when it comes to sex. And my husband and I, we've always been open when it comes to sex. But there was this one time that we were in the bedroom, we were doing our thing, and we just became very open and communicating. We literally communicated the whole entire time. I was like, do you like this? Do you like that? And that never happened before. It's usually just us having sex, making love, more like having sex. But it's always that without communication whatsoever. But there was this one time that him and I were just there, and I would, TMI, I would lick his balls, and I'd be like, is this good? Do you want it to be more to the left, to the right? Do you want me to put both in my mouth? What do you want? And he's just like, I think he liked it, that I was talking, because it's more like, you know what, we can have sex anytime. Do you know what I mean? But we don't really communicate all the time while having sex. And I think a lot of people, you guys should try it. It's actually it's actually really fun.
It's like, guys, it's like, I want to like go out to be with my guy friends and be like, guys, dude, this communication thing is like so amazing.
It is.
You wouldn't believe how like when your souls are like together and you're like in unison, and like, it's not a normal conversation that guys have.
No.
But like I personally am moving more towards incorporating, I guess, more love into my sexuality,
you
for
have to.
lack of better terms.
So you're not always like this, right? You're not always open about sexuality then. That you're just, right now you're exploring and you want to be open.
It's
right?
funny, yeah. I literally, I mean, I literally said those words fairly recently, that I want to explore my sexuality, and I think that kind of, I was kind of like dating somebody at the time, and I think that kind of scared her a little bit, maybe, because that can mean anything.
But that's what it should mean. It should mean anything, really. That's why you're exploring, right? But
and I think I'm doing it in a way. I think I had to, and this is a big point in communication and sexuality, which is one of the most primal forms of human intimacy. It can be one of the most distant forms of human contact. It can be, but I think it can be one of the most powerful forces in our known universe.
I believe that. No, I believe that completely. And with this whole sex tips, the reason why I'm excited is because I'm 34 years old almost. I'm turning 34. And there's still some things I feel like that I'm still learning. I actually didn't go down on a guy until I was with Sultan. So it's like was like,
Good for
I
you,
was
Sultan.
I was more
Congratulations, my friend.
I was more into girls really before him.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was more into girls, and for the longest, I would have like a boyfriend spot just to fill in the spot because my mom would always tell me like, if you're gay, you gotta let me know because we're very Catholic. If you're gay, you gotta let me know so I can take you more in church. I was like, I'm not gay. I have a boyfriend right here, and I would like pick up like a random guy in the street. Right here, mom. This is my boyfriend right now. But I was always into women. So when I met Sultan and I was actually attracted to a guy, I was like, oh, so I do like penis. It's maybe I was just trying the wrong ones, really. But the reason why I'm excited about this is because when we were having sex this one time, and I told you I was trying to communicate with him what he likes, what he doesn't like, I was trying to lick the tip of his penis, and he's like, and I told him, like, is this good? And he's like, actually, I don't like it when you do that. I was like, oh. I was like, then I fucking do that all the time. I feel like that was my intro every time we actually do it. And I think him telling me that, it's like, oh shit, like I should probably ask you what you want and don't like. Because I think when it comes to sex, like people just, I don't know, they don't say anything because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want you to think that you're doing something wrong. But I think I'd rather know what I'm doing wrong.
Well, I am guilty of not communicating things like that, and
so you kind of just let
in
them
the
do
past.
it. Yeah.
And I think that it's and again, I'm still learning. So I'm learning how to communicate not only in the bedroom, in the rest of my life as well. Like, what do I and even discover? I don't even always know what I like, what I don't like, and so the freedom to be able to tell that to your partner is.
Without judgment, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, without them saying, oh, no, like, I mean, for me, I want to know. I want to know if you guys aren't hard, does that always mean that you're not, like, in the mood?
That's an interesting question. I'll talk about what I have come to understand about the male sexual reproductive organ. So,
oh my God, it's definitely coming from biology.
Yeah, I'm such a nerd.
Penis, call it penis, it's okay.
Penis.
The male reproductive organ. God.
So the cock.
Yes, right? Thank you. Okay.
So we got the cock.
Yes.
It's a funny little being. For me, it's really tied to what's going on up here and going on in my heart.
Right.
And then, sometimes it is like, so I used to work in restaurants. And it's like after a shift in a restaurant where it's just a lot of anxiety and like everything, all I wanted to do was fuck. Like, that's all I wanted to do afterwards.
Right.
And that's like, in retrospect, that's much more of a kind of a primal energy wanting to do it. I'll get back to your question, I promise. But no. But, so there's different kind of flavors of my sexuality. I don't know what other guys are necessarily like, but, and I think there can be a lot of things going on. It can be a physiological thing. I think we probably need to start paying more attention to our pelvic floor. If you haven't heard that term,
I haven't.
It's a really great thing to think about. It's all the muscles. I'm gonna. So it's all the muscles right down
pelvic
here.
Floor. Okay.
And so it goes from it's the perineum is right between our.
I would feel
balls.
it, but I probably won't feel that at all.
Women have a perineum as well. It's a sensitive area right in that area, and there's a lot of blood flow that goes through that area. Okay. And I think there's one thing I've noticed about my own sexuality. I guess I don't have to hold my hand there, but sometimes, and guys, we'll just go right into some sex tips.
Right.
So a lot of times, when men don't get an erection, sometimes a lot of it has to do with blood flow. Okay. Plain and simple. It's all a blood flow problem. So a lot of times you need to relax, be able to control, relax, and contract the muscles of the pelvic floor. And if you start getting into things like Tantra
It's like a little massage, a little this. Would that work?
So I'll take you through a little example.
We need a demo right here, Sultan.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay.
So this is what.
That's what Jamaica's.
Jamaica.
Oh God. All right, tell me about Tantra.
A great place to experiment with something.
I think a lot of people actually maybe do not know what Tantra is. So why don't you explain what Tantra is?
I'm very much in the early stages of kind of understanding this, but my understanding of it is, it's using your breath and concentrating on kind of focusing on energies throughout your body, and then it creates this. You get really in touch with yourself.
Okay.
And it'd be really nice if you got really in touch with your partner.
Right.
I think it's good to experiment with these things probably on your own in a masturbatory situation, where unless you have a partner where you can really experiment with and you feel comfortable with. But anyway, you'll like inhale, relax your perineum. For guys, imagine when you inhale, like think of like energy going all the way into your tip of your penis, and then relax the perineum, relax the pelvic floor, everything, and then there's in Tantra or breath work, it's called the Mula Bandha.
Okay.
It's the like the chakra, the root chakra.
Okay.
Where you exhale, and then you want to contract your pelvic floor and kind of think about moving all that energy out into the world. Inhale the energy in. Now we're getting into some weird sex tips.
So there are two hearts in a guy's body, because this is usually the chakra right here, but then I guess there's a chakra down there too. So
there's a root chakra. So anyway, I think the point is there's a lot. So in my experience doing this, you will get incredibly hard erections.
Right.
Because what you're doing is the actual muscle contractions are holding that blood in your penis, and you're remaining erect.
Right.
And I'm doing that and I do a lot of yoga, I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of relaxation techniques, and I recommend that for everyone. If you want to have an amazing life, I recommend that for anybody, and really work on breath work.
Okay.
And then when you are in the bedroom, when you are in these situations where you can focus, because that's one of my biggest problems. Whenever I couldn't get hard for a woman, it's because I was thinking about something else I was worried about. That's a lot of it.
Right.
So 20 minutes later, I'll answer your question.
Which is not always the case, right? It's not always it's because you're not... Because I think what a lot of women feel is if you're not hard, then you're not into me. Which is wrong, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a lot of things. It could be psychological and things from work or alcohol. I've also heard that alcohol also makes that not be awake. And I'm thinking maybe it's true. Because for us women, I think I have a hard time finishing too when I'm drunk. So it could be the same, but it's still kind of like, I don't know, like a lot of women get offended when it's not hard, and it's like, oh shit, and they just kind of give up. It's like, whatever, you're not into me. And
well, and bear in mind too, that's a lot of pressure for a guy.
Yes, I know. Right.
So, because sometimes, I'd be driving to a date thinking, and like I have a conversation with my buddy Mike, who is just a big, powerful dude. And we'd both be talking about this. We're driving to the date, and we're like talking to it. We're like, all right, come on, man. You're going to have to, okay, let's just go. Just breathe, just relax. It's going to be fine. Because it's a finicky thing. And there is a lot of pressure on being hard. And there's a lot of social pressure and a lot of relationship expectations, like you're talking about. And
I don't know what I would do, to be honest, if I have that pressure. Because for us, we don't. We don't need to hide if we're hard or not. You don't really know sometimes if we come or not. But for guys, we're going to know. We can
talk about that.
We're going to know. If you're faking it, we're going to know.
But, what was I going to say about that? If there's a lot of pressure, if it doesn't happen, wait 5 minutes, and it might just happen like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I think sometimes if you allow space for things to happen, it'll happen in a way that you But when we lay these expectations on situations, then things can really just get fucked up.
So be patient, is what he's saying.
Some of the strongest erections, let's just get to it. Some of the strongest erections I've ever had was when I felt the most like loved. I was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, and it's weird. I can't really explain it, but those are the moments in my life where I was like, damn, I'm hard. Or
when you feel the love, right? And then that's why I don't believe that love and sex isn't intermingled, because I do think they're connected. I think a lot of people don't think they're connected. I think you can actually, granted, you can definitely have sex without love for sure. But like you said, like you get more hard, or you have the best experience when you feel the love. And I feel the same way. Like that's why love and sex, I think for me at least, is connected.
I had some crazy experiences, especially in New York with my girlfriend, just experiences where it was like, who is this person and what kind of portal has she opened up for me?
Yeah.
Like my understanding of the world.
Right.
It's like it was like crazy things. I don't know. It's almost like when the situation's correct, it's like you see lights, you see like, it's like fireworks. The orgasm is so intense. It's like you're being sent to a different dimension. And I really.
Is that what you had the other day?
That was the acid.
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you if that kind of thing played a role.
Oh my god, that is so funny, because we tried acid for the very first time 2 weeks ago, and we only took half of a tab, and it didn't work at all. So we're like, that's okay. I told you, any sound is fine. But then we're like, you know what? We were home. We weren't going anywhere. And we're like, we're just going to try a whole tab. And I get really paranoid with a lot of things. I don't smoke weed for a reason because I get paranoid, right? So with acid, I'm like, I might just cry in a corner, but that's okay. My husband is here. So we took a full tab. I was like, at first I was like, oh my God, the letters are dancing. Like I see like the text. I was trying to text my friends and the letters are all dancing. I didn't really anticipate sex at all because I wasn't even horny at all. Like 80% of the whole experience, I wasn't horny. And then he just started touching me, and I'm like, oh, wait, I am horny, So we started playing around, and then I started doing this role play, which I don't do at all. I was like, yeah, I'm your babysitter. I was just like, who am I right now? I really do not do a role play at all. But then when he came, he was so loud, like I'm pretty sure the whole school across the street heard him because he was just loud, and it was like the longest.
It was 2 a.m. Just
it was
kids around.
It was like and I was just like, I mean, I came to and I was screaming too, but then I was done after 2 seconds. The sound, I was still coming, but the sound after 2 seconds I was done. So the whole time I was just kind of hearing him go through phases, like a musical instrument. I was just like, all right, I gotta hear. Like, how was it? And he was like, it like took me to a different dimension, kind of like what you're saying. Yeah. So I'm like, was that like the same way? I mean, honestly, I've always wondered, and I still wonder, I don't think I'm ever gonna get this answer, but I don't know if guys finishing or women finishing I don't know if they feel the same. I don't know what feels better. Yeah. I'm never going to get that answer, So unless like a Freaky Friday happens to me one of these days and I wake up with a penis for like 24 hours, I'm probably going to like test that out.
Literally, my entire middle school was spent thinking about that very question.
Right.
if I could just get into a woman's body and just see how it all works and like figure it all out.
I just want to know, because I mean,
I play with my boobs all day long. And
is that what you're trying to do? I was gonna do the helicopter. I was like,
worth it.
I'm pretty sure all women, if they wake up with a penis, they're gonna do the helicopter. That's the first thing I'm gonna do.
Like that.
I just want to know if he'll actually do it, or will he just go like this? Okay. Let's go.
I was about to say it could do anything you want it to. You just have to
I was just like, is it gonna go like this, or is it actually gonna go around in circles?
Windshield wiper or helicopter?
There's a lot of tricks out there.
Okay, so let's go back to the whole sex thing.
Yeah.
Going down on a guy is definitely something that everyone enjoys, right? All guys enjoy it.
I do.
Okay. I think we got that.
I don't know about other guys, but I feel bad for the guys that don't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think.
But that's their own problem.
Right. I don't know. I mean, we can't speak on behalf of everyone. So there has to be one person at least out there that don't like it.
I love getting oral sex and I love giving oral sex.
Okay. But what do you like better?
Both at the same time. Preferable. Okay. 69 is like my favorite position.
Is it?
Yeah, one of them.
I never really liked it before I met Sultan. So I think it's fun if you enjoy the partner.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
It's yeah.
And if your partner is clean, I think. Because I'm like borderline germaphobe, I think, when it comes to that. And the fact that I know that my partner is clean and I know that he takes care of himself in a way, then, because I mean, I did that too before with women. I never did that with a guy before him, but I did it with women, and I'm always like that. Like, I would always like, hey, let's take a shower together.
That'd be sexy.
Just because I want to make sure. Yeah, you know? It's like for them, they think it's like a role play, foreplay, but it's not. Like for me, it's like, I want to make sure that you're clean. So I'm over here grabbing the body wash and just like, I got you. I got you.
I'm a total fan of that.
Yeah.
So who like men or women? How did you feel about going down on either one of them? Like,
I think it's a lot easier for me to make a woman finish, but I think it's because maybe I have more experience with it. But I also feel like it's less work. Honestly,
for women.
Yes, I feel like going down on a woman is less work than going down on a man. You know, because I mean, I could just keep my head like this and just move my tongue and it'll be fine. But for a man, it's like you need some like perfect strokes and different techniques, and it's a little bit harder for me at least. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think? But
well, I mean, for me,
right.
It seems so easy, you know. But
for
because
women.
I can feel you know everything on my body, but
yeah.
you know, it's always hard.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
And this is kind of what we're talking about in this whole, I think, scope of this conversation is like communication, because you can't.
How would you know?
You wouldn't. And so I do think role play might be actually a good way to bridge that, you know, where you say, okay, tonight I'm going to be the submissive one. You're going to be the more dominant one. We're going to play in this range. Here's, you know, as soon as things, you know, if something doesn't feel right, we'll stop. And, you know, hopefully with a partner that you trust and love, you can have that conversation.
Yeah.
And then you can start exploring, oh, what does this feel like for you? Oh, what does that feel like for you?
Yeah.
Oh, that feels good. And then all of a sudden you find something that both of you never thought of and is mind-blowing. So
communication is definitely key. I mean, there was a phase when my husband and I were like, he kind of sat me down. He's like, look, like, because I was that type of girl that I'm like, let's go.
okay.
It's like, let's just go, you know, like no role play. And I think like we argued a little bit, and he's like, you know, like, I'm gonna need you to put a little more effort. And I got really offended. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean effort? And he's like, I can't just get there, you know, like you, like I'm gonna a little bit more. I was like, oh, so I took it the wrong way in the beginning. I thought it was like, oh wait, what do you mean more effort? I'm like, you should be attracted to me already, like instantly, you know. But like, I think what he meant is role play is a big part, because like you're gonna need to kind of like a foundation. You're gonna need to put that foundation, and sex is work.
Yeah,
it is. It's not just a instant let's fuck. You know, especially if you have one partner. Like I feel like that's like you're gonna need to grow. You're gonna need to try new things, and you need to actually be willing to explore. You know.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is if you can understand yourself and what you like and what you want, then you can, and because it's really hard to communicate what you want if you don't even know what you want.
Right.
And then once you find out what you want, then you can say, okay, how do I communicate this to my partner in a way that's beneficial to both of us.
Right.
And that's it. It's tricky. There's an art to it, but it's possible. I'm not the best at it. I'm certainly, at the very least, I know that there's an option out there in which communication can't take place, and I'd like to get to that point. But yeah, it sounds like you guys have had some interesting experiences, and I love to hear the communication.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with this whole communicating part, like, I think it just became a big part of our relationship. And I think people that do not have that type of communication, you guys should really just sit down, try it. You know, one of these nights, just skip the whole fucking, just pleasure each other. You know, be like, do you like this? Or do you not like this? Or do you enjoy this more than this one? You know, and that's actually when Sultan and I's relationship became so much better, because we were communicating, you know. Of course, in the beginning, I mean, you both are attracted to each other. It's easier.
Yeah.
And you're still attracted, but it's like, it's new. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but as time goes on, you're going to need to put a little bit more effort there to actually keep that, like, spark, keep that passion going, and try acid, but be careful. Just kidding.
Well, you know, I think that I would be remiss if I didn't talk about psychedelics and certain substances because I have made it my mission kind of to study various strains of cannabis and how they affect sex, and then also I'm a huge proponent of psychedelics, hands down. I think that I mean, I don't think I'm wrong. It doesn't make me right, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think if everybody in the world did like psilocybin or something like that, I think the world would be a better place.
Honestly, actually, I told Sultan this before. I was like, we should just poison Putin with Molly. I think I just want to put like a dose of Molly in his drink so he can be like happier and filled with love, and just like, I think if we just sprayed the whole world with just a tiny little dose of Molly, I think everyone will just love each other.
Well,
it's solved. Conflict solved.
No world war.
I mean, I was thinking about that today, actually.
Yeah.
Like, if these are the things I think about in the car.
I see.
It's like
this is why he's not hard in the car, because it's like, maybe Molly will like solve Putin's problem.
No, but I have masturbated in the car before. Have you ever been like so?
Right.
Like,
while driving?
Yeah. On the highway. And then this is so gross, but I sat with it the rest of the time. I was just
that's right.
so horny.
Right.
I was like, I can't. I gotta just.
You should have probably timed it where you were like 15 minutes away from like where you were going, because now you're stuck with it. What did you do with it? Just
the real story is I was visiting a girl for like a few days, and with her family, and it just didn't feel right. And then so I was like, okay, this is probably a debt, and like we're not gonna go any further. And I got back in the car to drive home, and I was like, all right, I gotta just relieve myself, because this is just too much pressure.
I gotta try that. You think I can? I can't even drive without masturbating, so.
Well, self-driving cars are around the corner. We can all be grateful for that.
Right.
But yeah, so back to psychedelics. Okay, so if you're willing to take that journey, I do recommend doing that. It's going to give you a better insight into your own psychology, into yourself, and then if you do that with a partner, you're discovering these things at the same time. Yeah. You're discovering yourself at the same time, a little bit more and a little deeper, and a little bit better understanding of the world. Psilocybin is a remarkable, and LSD is as well. But psilocybin is.
What's the difference between the two?
Psilocybin is it occurs in magic mushrooms. Oh. So it's naturally occurring. LSD was synthesized in a lab. Both have very similar effects, but slightly different. And psilocybin is the one I mainly focus on. So I'll probably get my PhD in neurobiology someday. This is probably where it's all going to go. Yeah. But while I'm wearing this fur coat right now, but talking about sex tips, it all comes together though, because we are far more complex than we'd like to think. And we, social media is a great thing, and all of these ways that we interact are great, we are actually at the frontier of them. We don't really know what we're doing with all of them yet. We don't know. I've had my own battles with Instagram and it's just, it can be a mind fuck.
It is a mind fuck. The whole social media is a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I think we need to be a little easier on ourselves and go, hey, you know what? Okay. This is weird. This makes sense though. I was eating butter today. I was buttering my bread from a place I
Is that
ordered
is that a metaphor?
No, but there's
the bread, the real bread.
I was buttering my bread.
Okay.
This is actual loaf or piece of bread.
Okay.
And I was thinking, we're so removed from that cow.
Yeah.
It has to say real butter on it, on that
That's true.
piece of thing. And I thought we're so removed from that. Wherever that cow is, it gets. And I think these weird things, but then I think, well, if that's happening, with our food, something we need to live, and if that's happening also with our relationship, like
it is happening.
And then with our sexual relationships, we got Tinder and all this shit where we can swipe, and it's really easy to do. The hard thing is to go deep, and that's where the gold is. Mm-hmm. And so, it all that kind of comes full circle. Psychedelics are a beautiful thing because they will change the way you look at the world, and they will start to make you wonder why you're doing certain things. Mm-hmm. And then life becomes interesting because you're like, oh, I don't have to think that way anymore.
This whole psychedelics is definitely very new to me. Like, it's not something I really explored before. I was definitely in a very conservative family, so I didn't really drink alcohol until college. If then, I didn't do any drugs at all until last year. It was just not something that I do because I'm taught.
First gotta go.
Yeah.
We'll keep it in the background because I love it.
We had a bet actually. I win. Just kidding. So I wanted to, I don't know, everything that I was taught about psychedelics and all this stuff is not true. It's actually very spiritual for me. Like when we tried it, I was like happy, and then I was crying at one point. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm so happy." He's like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like, No, I'm really happy because I feel like I'm finally realizing stuff about myself that I didn't know before, or maybe I did, but it wasn't so clear. That it made it clear. So I think this is a very important topic to discuss, and the fact that I had the best orgasm it was just,
guys, if that's the only reason, then just
it was just really, it was really odd. It was just, I don't know what happened. It was like I was really thinking that it wasn't going to. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I just wanted to relax with my husband and have fun and chill and discover ourselves. But that was like a bonus. It was not something I expected. But
well, so I hope that the stuff I'm saying makes sense because this is these things are so fascinating. Like you just mentioned orgasm. It made me think of when I was in conservatory in New York. I had this awesome vocal coach. She's from South Dakota, and I was obsessed with her because my dad's from South Dakota, and she was like this cool, weird, hippie, free. She had this voice that was it was just resonant, and it felt so good to listen to her. And I was like, "What are you?" And
she's a unicorn.
She knows how to breathe, and she knew how to move her body, and so there's this technique. She had all these techniques. There's a lot that you can study in the world of. You can spend the rest of your life studying the breath.
Yeah.
And but there's a technique where you release your muscles. You put them at that perfect tensile spot where you're slightly in control and slightly not, and you have these convulsions.
Yeah. Like
an orgasm.
Right.
And when you're done, you feel so relaxed, and it's like, oh my Lord, life is good. And I think that what's happening there, it's like, why an orgasm? Why an orgasm?
Right.
Why? It's such a strange thing. I think what's happening there is we are having a full release. I think I don't know, I haven't studied it yet, but
you're kind of studying it.
I kind of have, yeah. I've known it. I know enough to not like. If I were to study it the way I want to, I would be a PhD candidate studying it because I would want to do a big study on this.
Right.
And it's like, why the orgasm? Like we lose functional control of our bodies. We go to a different place mentally, and it's like, what's happening? Like sometimes people cry. Sometimes people like, what's going on? And so
either way, you have this intense emotion.
Yeah.
Intense release of emotion, really.
And you don't even need to understand it to get the benefit of it. Like,
I don't think anyone really understands it.
And I don't think we ever really will. I don't think we ever really need to. I think it's something to be respected. And that's why it's like, I think sex is something that, and I think it goes back to kind of the reason why I'm here. It's like, I'd love for that conversation to reach a grander scale. Like the internet has afforded us basically the wealth of the knowledge of the world in one place. And it's, if you go and search sex on the internet, there's a lot of shit out there. And then there's like porn.
I think that's the first thing that will pop up. Yeah.
And porn, like, I learned a lot about sex from porn. And I'm starting to change my relationship with it. I noticed, like, I'm not really going to the same things anymore. And I'm going to more, like...
so what were you going for before?
Yeah, I think there was much of a, like, more domineering kind of an energy.
Okay.
Where there's probably more like power dynamics and being in a higher power dynamic and a submissive.
And now you're exploring that.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is I think I'm more in awe of what I don't know because I've tasted a little bit of what I don't know, and that's made me go, I should probably rethink this. So,
yeah. I mean, not having the control. That's the definition of orgasm. When you have an orgasm, well, for me, I don't know. I think it's for everyone. You don't have any control. Like when you're coming, you have no control of what's happening. You know, your sound, the way you. That's why you're gonna know if someone is faking because, like, a moaning from orgasm should not be pleasant. It should not be rhythmic because there's no control there. And I think that's why maybe you're exploring the whole submissive part because maybe you enjoy not having the control.
I love not having control.
Right.
I love being, told what to do or whatever, in that environment. Like, not in real life. I don't like anybody telling me what to do in real life, but like,
just in the bedroom. Don't tell what to do right now.
Yeah, you can, and we'll see how that goes. But but that's kind of a fantasy for me. Like the idea of a woman saying, "I got you tonight." Like I'm in control, and just sit back and relax. Like I've got you.
Are you okay with like handcuffs, or is that too much for you?
No, I would definitely be down with that in the right context.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about like a little bit of like violence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are definitely exploring.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that I'm not okay with yet.
Really?
Yeah. If I see you with a little whip, I'd be like, nah.
You see the whip coming, and you're like, no.
I mean, handcuffs me with a little flurry, little red handcuff, sure.
Yeah.
But if I see you with like a whip, like real whip, and it's like, all right, turn around, I'd be like, nah.
We would
I'm
definitely have to discuss the rules of engagement.
Yeah.
And I think, life is a game. Life
Right.
is a game, and it's the most fun when you know what the rules are. And so, like, it's just the same thing in with sex, relationships. Like, if you can articulate the rules for one another, so that that we can operate within these bounds, and maybe the rule is we're willing to test those bounds. But I'm a big believer in the rules. Maybe that's my personality, but I do think. Even though like I'm totally out there, like I'm very anti-authoritarian, and I don't like people telling me what to do, but I do like understanding how rules work.
I mean, that's why you like to be submissive in the bedroom.
Totally.
Because you're in control in the real life, so you want the opposite.
Yeah. I don't always like setting the agenda and saying what we're gonna do and doing all this stuff.
That's
Sometimes,
no fun though.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fun. I think planning. I mean, you can plan a little, but I think planning the whole thing. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun to me at all.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
We are about to be hitting the times up, but I wanted to ask you a few questions that still in my head from our Instagram followers. One is actually, I'm wondering the same thing, so this question is really good. Does it actually feel good? Does anal actually feel better than regular?
That's a good question.
Or is that just taboo? Is that just one of those things where, you know what, this is more like prohibited, so it feels better mentally? Or does it actually feel better?
It's a great question, and something actually I've been thinking about, because that taboo is real, and it's something I feel like I'm starting to kind of break just in these explorations. Like, I think we can think about these things a little bit more in terms of first principles, which is a physics term, which means just kind of breaking them down to their most elemental parts. You have a prostate.
Right.
The prostate feels good when you tickle it and push
Right.
on it.
Right.
And you can have an ejaculation, and you can have an orgasm from prostate. So it's a prostate orgasm. And it's a thing that happens with your body. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're lumped into, there's a lot of social pressure on certain sexual things.
Right.
And I am of the school of thought that I'm willing to, I haven't really explored that, but I'm willing to explore that. Like,
To see which one feels better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, it's like with these things, I found this like sexual coach online.
Yeah.
And like I've been watching her videos, and they're really informative, actually. So this stuff's out there. It's like, it's it's my OnlyFans that I'm, subscribing to.
Do you have an OnlyFans? I can link it here.
No, much to the chagrin of many people. I've thought about it. I've thought of so many schemes of making money off of OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But I just, it's more of just a fun thing to think about. But no, like, you can have all sorts of different types of orgasms, and I'm willing to explore that. I don't think that. Yeah. I will say this. I think men can start thinking about the stigma of that, and maybe doing away with that kind of thought
Right.
process.
Okay. What about, okay, like when a girl goes down on you versus, let's say a girl goes down on you versus a girl on top of you, what feels better? A mouth or a vagina? What feels better?
I would say it's like, if you asked Van Gogh if he liked using the blue paint or the green paint more, it's like they're both awesome. Okay. It's just, how do you want to use it in the painting? Yeah. It's like, I mean, I don't plan out my sexual encounters, but if I did, it would be more of like a symphony, You use all the instruments.
Yeah, why pick one? Why pick one if you can have both?
That's how I like it. I do like to, sometimes there is, a time and a place to meet in the bathroom and, just have a quickie and, a nice
in the when you say bathroom, not in the shower, right?
No, I mean like at a restaurant, in the bathroom,
oh, yes. Right,
like out, having that kind of kinky, in public kind of sex. But I do like...
He's definitely one of those guys, I'm like, what the fuck, this is taking forever? I gotta pee. He's like in the bathroom with another girl. Oh. Let's go. What are you doing in there?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh my God, I feel like I'd be so scared.
Yeah. I've done it. In the middle of Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
I was scared.
I'd probably be so scared.
Talk about not being able to perform. I was like, I can't do this right now. It was not... Girls were coming in and out of the bathroom, and
Oh, so at least it's not just one stall.
Yeah.
So
no,
that's okay. Okay, I
no.
can probably do that, actually.
But
as long as it's not one stall. I feel like one stall, I'd have that pressure of
I was
someone
under a little
outside.
bit of pressure that night, and it was just not the great situation. It wasn't my idea either, so it was just not happening.
But you
And
can't say no, so.
No, so that's why we have fingers. So, thank God. What was the question?
What was the question? Oh, vagina or mouth? Is that the question?
Yeah, vagina or mouth
Well,
or butt.
we yeah, I think we arrived at both.
Or butt.
and-
Yeah.
Who's the butt?
Oh.
Who's the butt guy?
So actual anal sex.
Close to the previous.
Oh, yeah. No, we were done. No. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, the third question is, okay, when you guys masturbate, you obviously know what you're doing because you're feeling it, right? And that's why you guys come faster through that than regular sex, right? That's the only reason why. It's because you guys actually feel what you're doing.
That's good. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good
I think a
question.
lot of girls are wondering that. It's like, because I mean, a lot of guys can like come in like less than a minute.
Is
just
that a
because-
common thing that women are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
understand
think
that.
I think a lot of girls too. Like, if a guy is having a hard time coming, we automatically think that you masturbate a little too much.
It could be the other way around too.
It's
It
like,
could
all
be the
right,
other
he
way
doesn't.
around.
He's having a hard time coming,
The other way around.
which is masturbate less.
I know, like you come faster with a girl because it's so like foreign. It's different.
Oh,
Then
Yeah.
masturbating, like you do it,
That's
you do
true.
practice. So
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like
because there's others like 10 seconds are done
mm-hmm.
with a girl.
Mm.
So new or different. So
But
it can go both ways.
we definitely think if you don't come right away, it's because you masturbate a little too much. Is that true? Obviously, psychologically, like we discussed earlier, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that goes on
Yeah.
behind them guys.
Well, and I'm a head case, like,
Yeah.
especially in the past, I've definitely been like thinking and thinking and thinking. And it's just
Yeah.
like, and you're fucking, and you're like thinking, and I'm like, oh, and then you start thinking, oh, I'm not coming yet. Oh shit, she's gonna think I'm not like into her, and
oh shit,
fuck,
she's
I'm
gonna
not-
think I'm masturbating too
yeah,
much.
she's gonna
Fuck.
think I'm masturbating too much, and then like I'm just gonna talk about it with her friends, think that I'm like not into her, but yeah,
Have you been so pressured before that you faked it?
yeah. I don't like to admit
I'm
that.
coming right now. I'm
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah,
Oh god.
that is.
I think
not-
that's normal.
Yeah.
I think every guy in this world has faked an orgasm before
Yeah.
based on pressure. I mean, women have. We have.
There's a lot of
You
there's a
know.
lot going on in
Yeah.
the sexual, when you're having a sexual encounter, and I think that's another thing too. To take the pressure off, realize it doesn't have to be perfect every time. Like
No.
it's kind of, it's not even I don't want to say hit and miss, but like it's kind of that way. Again, I'm going to go back to something weird. I do recommend people practice mindful meditation. And what that's going to help you do is make more sense of your emotions and your thoughts in general. And then it's also really going to help you in this category as well, because you can better go from kind of a metacognitive standpoint, what's happening? What's happening in my brain, in my body, in my mind? in my heart?
Understanding what you actually want is so powerful.
Yeah.
Because when you know that, you can share that with your partner. And when your partner knows, there goes the chemistry that you guys can actually work on forever. Because I mean, like I said, like if you guys are new, everything is new. It's your first time trying the food, it's exciting. But then after a few years, you're going to have to actually communicate what you actually want. Like
Yeah.
how you actually want your balls licked, how you actually want everything. I mean, honestly.
The important things.
Yeah, I mean, for me, actually, this is the question for my husband and for you too, because you guys are men. Do you guys like it when I put? Oh, well, not you, but do you like
I don't
it when
know.
girls put like their finger in your ass?
I haven't really encountered that a whole lot, but the little that I have, I would say, and not in. I haven't really experienced in, but I've experienced like tickling that area.
Okay, Okay, maybe not that in. Maybe not too in. I do have nails. I don't think it's gonna go in without hurting you.
Well, I do.
But yes, around that area.
So, I mean, what I have learned from gay men is that there's a preparation for that experience. I think if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, I would be open to it. I'm honestly.
I think he's open about everything.
So,
I'm open to this.
Yeah, I took a personality test recently, and I scored 96 on openness.
Oh.
So if there's 100 people in the room, only 4 of them are going to be more open than I am.
But why wouldn't you be open to anything?
Because you can get hurt that way, and I have like not sexually, but like openness in general in a harsh, cruel world. Can be, so you have to really learn to fortify yourself if you want to be open, and I want to be open.
Yes.
Because even like I came here today and I study voice.
Yeah.
And I started doing that a year and a half ago over COVID. It saved my life really. And I do it I do my warm-ups every day. I work on my voice every day. And what's awesome about it is you learn through that experience. And it's one of the most beautiful meditative practices that I have, and you start to like go, okay, I feel these sounds throughout my body, and it's like doing strange things. Like, what is this resonance doing to me? And then you start to think, well, maybe there's more to all of this, and I do think that kind of like frequency resonating thing kind of works in all aspects of our life. So I forget what the question was. Sorry.
I mean, honestly, I think I might just study this whole thing now.
Thing.
Yeah, the butt thing.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Like, I don't know if he likes it. I haven't really asked him, but I don't really put it in. I just kind of tickle around it.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Well,
but it looks like he likes it. So
the prostate is located in. If you want to get to the prostate,
why. I mean, that's exactly why I'm doing it, because I know exactly where it's at. But then I don't want to like violate his. You could even be like, hey, yo, tonight you want to try some ass? I mean, I do have a very small finger. It's like a size 4. So
that helps. I will say, for a guy that has not experienced that before, that's the nice smaller thing.
The better.
You know, let's say when you go meet your proctologist, you shake their hand.
They have big fingers. You're like
big fingers. Get a new doctor.
See ya.
Oh God. All right, before we end the show, I want you to promote your show. Tell us more about it. Where is it going to be at? I know it's going to be April. I think that's what you said.
April 23rd is the opening date of Sex Tips for Straight Women from a Gay Man, and it's going to be at the Greenhouse Theater in Lincoln Park, Chicago, and it's going to be great to be back in Chicago on stage. I haven't been on stage here since I was at Second City, and Chicago's given me a lot. It gave me, I mean, talk about being a man. Like I feel like I've become a man various steps of my life, so I feel like I keep becoming a man.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be back in Chicago. This city is a powerful force for, it's like, it changes you. And anybody who I kind of feel like I've come from Chicago, even though I was born and raised in Indianapolis.
Yeah. Chicago's one of a kind, really, for us. I mean, we travel a lot, but we always go back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's home. I mean, even the whole pandemic, looting and all that stuff, we still didn't move. We're still here, you know? So it's like, I know the week just left. It's like, we're done with Chicago. And I'm just like, no. I still see the beauty in Chicago.
Even though, like, Chicago does its best to try to kick people out.
It does. It really does.
It's just like,
if you
have a car in Chicago, you're going to get fucked, like, no matter what. Or, like, Chicago just has a way of doing that. But I think it's like a harsh parent, so to speak, that's teaching you hard lessons.
So you're definitely excited to be playing.
Yeah, so
Chicago.
it's gonna be it's gonna be great to be back in Chicago. It's gonna be awesome to be back on stage in front of a live audience post pandemic. I've been to a couple shows since then.
When does the tickets?
I think pre-sale is already started.
Okay, you're gonna need to send it to me.
Yeah,
I want to go.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
It's a really, so basically what the show is it's it was written by a guy that actually grew up about 20 minutes away from me.
Oh.
And he's from Carmel. I'm from Geist in Indianapolis, and but he lives in New York now, and so we kind of have a similar background. And he was saying that he felt like he was the perfect person to write this play because he's from the Midwest, where I'm from the Midwest. I know how I feel. I was terrified to come on and talk about sexuality, because I'm thinking, if I have to just come on here and be myself and not think about what everybody's thinking about me potentially back home. And
it's a little bit more closed.
Yeah.
Over there, I think.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun to see what Chicago.
It's gonna be really fun. Honestly, I'm gonna bring my husband, bring a bunch of girls. That's like fun. That's like a girls' night out type of thing.
So, and truth be told, I was kind of getting ready to walk away from acting after this.
What changed your mind?
So I was actually getting ready to kind of start a new career and go out and start flying airplanes out in Phoenix and learn to fly and potentially become a commercial airline pilot or something. I wanted to learn to fly. It's been a lifelong dream.
Okay.
So there was a line in the script that was like talking about my character wanting to go into outer space and basically kind of create a stairway to the stars for all the people. And but he has his magic Mike moment. And I thought, okay, it's a little too true to life. Like, I haven't had my magic Mike moment yet, and I do at the end of this play. Like, there is a strip scene in which I will be stripping, and so that's going to be a huge stretch for me.
Okay, now everyone's going to go.
So I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to, like, really explore my sexuality, honestly, in a very new way in front of a bunch of strangers live.
Right.
And it's going to be terrifying. It's going to be exhilarating. It's going to be a fun experience. I think when people come to the show, they're going to be taken care of. And we're not going to throw balls and dicks in your face. We're going to talk about them.
Damn it, I'm not going.
That's the after party. We can discuss the details of that. But, we want it to be for people who are very sexually awake and then for people who are very sexually closed off.
Of course.
And everybody feel comfortable
or
and have a
in
great
between.
time.
Right.
And so I think that's the mission of this play. And it's just going to be fun.
Right.
It's like we're not going to cure cancer, but we might get people to start talking about sexuality a little differently and maybe have these conversations with their partner and even themselves.
By the time this is released, it's definitely, you said beginning of April?
April 23rd is the
April 23rd. Is that just a one show or like a...
That'll be our opening night, and then we're going to run until ticket sales are through July 2nd.
Perfect. Okay, I want to make sure that when this is released, it's still going on.
Okay.
But I will insert a little clip on my Instagram, and then I'm going to put like a link to the ticket just so people are aware of where to get the tickets.
Awesome.
Since this sounds all fun.
Come and see my Magic Mike moment. We don't know if there's going to be any more after this, so we just don't know.
He's like, baby, who's that player that he said he's going to retire and he just came back?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's like Tom Brady. He's
Is
like,
Tom
you know
Brady
what? I don't know if this is my last one, so you better come, and then he's going to come back anyways.
Hey, you know what? If you're good at playing the game and you still like it,
who
have some
cares?
fun.
It's
Have
okay.
some fun.
Honestly, it's okay.
All the people that sent them gifts want their gifts back.
I would too, actually. Wait a minute.
That's Tom Brady problems right there.
I want to cheers you once again.
I
Oh
have
my
put
God, with
that
your empty
down.
stuff.
Yeah, there's a little bit left.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
If you guys want to learn more about Brad, I'm going to put his socials here. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on my new episode of Cupid and the Rocks.